Have you ever felt that your development as a medium is on pause? Are you frustrated that it doesn't seem like your abilities seem to be growing? In this video, I'm sharing 4 important things to keep in mind that just might help you feel like you're moving forward as a medium. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell too. That way you'll be notified the next time that I release a new video. I have video recordings of my readings so that you can see me in action, spiritual how-tos, meditations, and so much more. I'm someone who's all about breaking down development and getting results into step by steps. But sometimes that just doesn't feel like enough, does it? Maybe you feel like you're doing the work, but things just aren't moving along as quickly as you'd like. Now, you may not want to hear this, but sometimes that's just the path of mediumship development, and not just mediumship development, but of life. Here are a few things to keep in mind that might bring you a more empowering perspective. Personal development is a must. The first thing that I feel most compelled to start with when it feels like you're experiencing a mediumship development plateau is that sometimes you're held still in your mediumship development because there's another part of your life that needs your attention even more. When we go through experiences of anger, grief, anxiety, just to name a few of the many examples, Spirit may direct us to focus our attention in that area. And it can be extremely difficult to give a reading. I've shared in my YouTube video, My Dark Night of the Soul, that I've suffered from crippling anxiety and panic attacks in the past and very much struggled with my mediumship at that time. Clearly, Spirit knew there was another part of my life that needed my full attention and had to be the main priority. I know of a well-known medium who shared that they had to cancel an event of theirs because they were unable to provide quality readings due to the grief and anxiety they were experiencing during a certain chapter of their life. While you may not be feeling that there is a drastic challenge in a part of your life, it doesn't mean that you might not be held to focus on an emotional upgrade or something else of the sort in terms of self-development so that you can move forward as a medium. And that kind of work is never a waste because it often is the thing that's keeping us blind to that next step that we need to take. Although I was no stranger to self-development work before I went through my previous summer of anxiety and panic attacks, after my experience of being held in my mediumship development during that time, I dove even deeper into that work, and I've come to realize that so much of why we feel stuck, and not just in our mediumship development, but in our lives, are the times that we're really getting in our own way because it's time for what I call an emotional upgrade, and we just haven't quite gotten to the bottom of it yet. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to be the Buddha to be a good medium. You don't have to be at a perfectly evolved space in your life. But don't forget that mediumship is about love, compassion, connection, empathy. And so as we develop self, it helps us to develop these same qualities in ourselves. We must spiritualize ourselves if we are to accurately connect with Spirit. I heard a medium say once, if you want to touch souls, touch your own soul first. I'll never forget that, and I couldn't agree more. I know that my mediumship has gone to the next level as I've taken a deeper dive into self. The next thing to keep in mind is to become aware of the cycles of mediumship development. This can look differently for everyone, but for me, I've noticed my own cycle that I go through as I journey along this mediumship path. I tend to advance really quickly over about a 3-month period of time. Then I operate maintaining and using those same skills for a good solid 6-month period of time. Then I have a fuzzy week or 2 or 3, which is never fun. It's a time where nothing seems quite as clear as it did before. And then it's not too long before I'm right back into advancing again for another 3-month period. Now, don't worry about my cycle or my timing, but start to take notice of yours. The main thing to be aware of and on the lookout for is that you have a certain cycle of advancing. picking up new skills, being able to expand your awareness in certain ways, then of staying at that place, and then even a short period of time that might feel like a regression. And that's okay. If you think about any other skill, it's how we learn everything that we learn. As long as you put in the work, you will make significant progress. But sometimes we read too deeply into a time of maintenance or a time of regression to make it feel as if we're doing something wrong or we need to work harder, when really it's more about patience, which I'll talk about soon. I did have a tutor, and I told her that I felt like I would expand, 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 operate a certain level, regress slightly, and things would get fuzzy. She said, "That's so normal. I want you to imagine it that you're working within the confines of a room, and then you have to go through this fuzzy hallway, and that opens up into a bigger room. That's the cycle that you go through. You're in a room, you're working within that size of the room, things are a little fuzzy in the hallway, and all of a sudden you realize you're operating in a much bigger space. That's a lot like how it feels to me when I'm going through my different cycles of development. We've got two more important things to keep in mind that I'd like to share, but first, do either of these pieces resonate deeply with you? If so, please share more below. I'd love to hear from you. I just alluded to this, but the third thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to mediumship and a lot of parts of life, patience is key. I'm not saying patience is helpful. I'm saying patience is key. Mediumship development is also happening behind the scenes when you think that nothing is happening. Be aware that when things appear to be plateauing or gliding along at status quo, that spirit will often be working to develop you. And every experience you have as a human is something that is expanding your frame of reference. And if during that time you're keeping up with developing the mechanics of mediumship and really understanding the best way to go about advancing your craft, you'll be just fine. I'm sure you've had other times in your life where you feel like you're doing all the right things, but it doesn't outwardly look like you're getting anywhere. As you stay consistent, suddenly progress becomes evident. Mediumship is not something that you can rush. It's not something that you can grasp for, and it's not something that you can be impatient with. Stay present, stay grateful for what comes, and this is a skill that relies so much on trust. So it's not just about trusting during a reading, it's about trusting the journey. The fourth thing to keep in mind and really think about is, how are you approaching your development? Are you practicing those things that will help you discover what's next for you personally on your path as a medium? Now, this will look differently for you than anyone else because mediumship is unique to each person. But let's review a little bit about what I've shared in other YouTube videos, and that is my mediumship development framework. It's a really helpful guide, and it focuses on the 5 C's of mediumship that help us to not forget or overlook different aspects of this practice, different aspects of developing your craft. And I'll just say that you may have a different way of identifying what your next step is in development. I had a teacher once who asked me to create a spiritual to-do list, and I loved that approach. And actually, my mediumship development framework was born of that. So the 5 C's is first, clear channel. What are you practicing on a regular basis to become a clear channel? Now, this is a huge aspect of where self-development work comes in. The clearer you are in terms of letting go of your ego layers, the clearer you can channel. So it's not just about sitting in the power and meditation, although that is a key aspect. The next one is communication in the clairs. What are you doing to develop your toolbox of being able to speak the language of spirit? Next, we have confidence. Confidence is key in so many parts of life, but mediumship, it's again an absolute must. You have to have confidence and trust. How are you taking risks in mediumship and putting yourself in places where you end up learning from taking those risks, whether you fail or you succeed, and you're building that confidence and building that trust in your connection with spirit? Next, community. How are you surrounding yourself with other people who are also developing themselves so that you can be loved, supported, and inspired by others? And lastly, command of craft. What is your regular practice of exercising your skills and identifying specifically for you the next best strategic step to develop your mediumship. I've given you a lot to think about. I'd love it if you want to take notes, jot down some ideas, and leave a comment below. And if you're interested in strengthening your clairs so you can speak to spirit, go ahead, download my free guide below. You can also check out my free training. It's called 3 Essential Practices to Strengthen Your Skills as a Medium. Both links are below in the video description. You can check out mediumshipwithmel.com if you'd like to book a private reading, group readings, or if you'd like to learn right along with me in my development circle. Don't forget to check out this video next. And if you like this video, give it a like, comment below, share it with someone who it might be helpful for. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Also, ring that bell if you'd like to be notified the next time that I release a new video on all things mediumship.